everyone, you're watching VGO 40 and this is VGO Girl, and today we're taking a look at World of Kings and we're looking at the Necromancer build. Now this one is set to a difficulty of hard, as you can see on the side there, and I've seen some really high damage from Necromancers, but apparently it is a little bit of a tougher class to play. So we're gonna take a look at one of my guild members' setups, and she's going to walk us through kind of how to go about playing a Necromancer. Alright, when I went to record this, the voice chat didn't come through. I'm really kind of disappointed, so I'm going to see if I can remember everything, and I'll have Vera correct me if I get anything wrong, and I'll go over what we talked about as far as the Necromancer build goes. Okay, starting with the build, DPS for Necromancers is based off their damage over time spells, not their just straight attacks. So it's a little bit different than a normal DPS build would be. For these, the most important attacks were Life Feedback and Shadow of Doom, if I remember correctly. Those are the two that you want up to 9s or as close as you can first. Besides that, Banshee's Wail is the other one that's really important. After that, kind of the Miasma and Fade to Mist, those are ones that are really good also. So those will be the ones that you focus on after you have Shadow of Doom, Life Feedback, and Banshee's Wail up. Now, as far as actually playing the Necromancer, she said that the most important thing is really the rotation. So you're going to want to always hit Life Feedback first, and then Banshee's Wail, and those will really do the damage a lot. So Life Feedback, Banshee's Wail, and then Shadow of Doom. So that's kind of your rotation. You'll put in the other ones as well as you can, but those three are kind of the highest ones to get your DPS up. Okay, again, the engraving is not really straightforward either. You don't always just pick the highest one. For especially Life Feedback and Banshee's Wail and Miasma, you want to pick the middle one, and that's because it reduces the cooldown of these spells, so that the more you can cast them, the faster you get them out, the more damage you're doing. So really with the Necromancer, it's you really want to focus on those cooldowns so that those go faster. Now the other ones that we're looking at here are things like the Shadow of Doom. You want to do the first one, and then you can kind of look here, because again it reduces that cooldown. That first one reduces the cooldown for Shadow of Doom. And so you're going to kind of want to, the other one is that Life Feedback. That second one actually makes it last 2 seconds longer. So again, that's kind of a good way to go about it. But if you look at her setup here on the page, you can see the different colors that she has associated with each of the skills, so you can get a better idea of which skills to use for your engraving when you're setting up your character. Alright, again, for this one, for Mastery, you're going to want to put everything into Painful Torture, and that one is really what you want to focus all your Mastery points on. Now you'll see here, just like if you looked at any of the other class videos that I have, the other two, the Magic Mist Coil and the Soul Feedback, those have points in them if you look at her setup. So you up Painful Torture as much as you possibly can, and then you put any of the booklets or any of those into the other ones until you get Painful Torture up even higher. So you still get 50% bonus for the other two, so use those as well. Now looking at the skills, she has mostly in Combat Master. Again, casting speeds, attacks, those are really what she's focusing on here. If you can do haste as well, those things are the ones that are going to make your casts even faster. You're going to be reducing those cooldowns and things like that. You're going to be able to get those rotations out faster, which means that you're going to be able to do more damage. So that's really what you're going to be focusing on for this. Going down to look at the artifacts, again, it kind of goes along with that same feel. You're going to want to go for things that are going to do attack bonuses, reducing cooldowns of things, and that sort of thing you can see. Now her artifacts are not perfect. She was a Lightbringer before, so some of these skills she's still switching over. So it's not 100% accurate, but it should be pretty good as far as, you know, really looking for those hastes and reducing the cooldowns of attacks. And you know, if you can get like a +2 for the bottom row for some of these things. I know for mine, I do a lot of repetitive ones in these artifacts, so I was able to then go on to like level 3 or something of an artifact. So anything where you can kind of boost some of those even more is a great way to go about looking at the artifacts. Just make sure that if you take an artifact, talent, skill, whatever, it coincides with the talent. You have to have a talent point in that item in order to also have it for the artifacts. And if you click on something and it does not have a talent point in it, there'll be a little red message in the center telling you that you don't have your talent points in there, so you're not going to get that bonus. So really doing your reforge as much as you can until you get those correct ones is a great way to align your talents and the artifacts and get those added bonuses. Okay, here you can see we're looking at the sigils now. These are going to mostly want to focus on haste. Obviously the center ones they don't have haste for, so really go for haste on the gold, the blue. Those are the ones you're going to want haste on. It increases your speed of your skills, and that is just going to get your dots out faster. So again, that's kind of where you want to focus on with Necromancer. So it's all about going fast and increasing your damage. You do not want your crit rate. It's not important for Necromancer, and the crit damage. Those are not where you're looking for. It's all about the hastes and increasing your damage. Okay, the last thing is I forgot under the skills to take a look at the inscriptions, the scrolls. And for these, we wanted to look at the ones that take the skills cooldown and reduce the skills cooldown. So in this case, for Shadow of Doom, Life Feedback, Banshee's Wail, Vera had said that she kind of focused on even some of them doing 2 of the skill cooldown reductions, so that she was able to then, of course, get more of those attacks out even faster. So again, the rotation for Necromancer is really the most important thing. When you're going to cast your spells, Life Feedback, then Banshee's Wail, after that, your Shadow of Doom, you're going to want Life Drain and Plaguing Curse after those. Things like Fade to Mist is your evade or heal, so you don't need to use that as often. So just kind of being aware that, you know, going that Life Feedback, Banshee's Wail, Shadow of Doom, and then again Life Drain and Plaguing Curse. So you're watching VGO 40, and this is VGO Girl, and hopefully you found this helpful. If you would like us to do some videos on a different class, a specific class, please leave that in the comments, and I'll see if I can find somebody who is willing to help out with their rotations and build. And we will see you next time in World of Kings.